This is the Sunday Wire, episode 567. We're calling it the Watchdogs of War. I'm Bryan McClain, sitting in for Patrick Henningsen while he is on travel. There is a chance, I don't know, we're going to have to see. We'll have to ping him during the show here. We'll see if he can possibly join us. Perhaps he might be able to call in and give us an update from wherever he might be out there doing the 21 Wire thing. I'm going to be joined by Adam Clark today, aka Ruckus. I'm going to go ahead and bring him aboard right now. Adam, welcome to the Sunday Wire. How you doing today?
Made it. I'm doing good. How are you? It's one of those kind of days where I'm like, wow, I'm shocked that this just happened and I'm here and I'm speaking to you. You can see me and hear me. So, hey, so far so good, my friend. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's been one of those weeks, one of those months, one of those years, actually. But hey, yeah, no, there's a lot of interesting and frightening and terrible news. So I'm sure we're going to discuss as much of it as possible today. Apologies to the listeners in advance, but thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, hello to all our friends and fellow researchers and wireheads in the various chats there. We're streaming live on YouTube, on Rumble, on X, multiple accounts on X. Wonderful to see everybody on X, YouTube, Rumble, out there on BitChute as well. Where else are we? I think that's that's about most of it. After the show, we'll get it up into the podcast streams, so that audio version will go out wide. So Ruckus, here we are. This year has gone by, I don't know, so slow and so fast at the same time. It's like I'm sitting here. We just had Halloween. We did our boiler room digital seance summoning the ghost of the internet on Friday night in the boiler room, and it made me. Well, we kind of took a retrospective, nostalgic look at the internet in general and those wild, wild west days of the internet. And after the show, I started thinking, man, 2025 has flown by. But then I looked at our archives and I looked at our chats and I started pulling reference links and stuff like that. And it's like, wow, this has been a long year. So I'm in a bit of a time warp right now. I think this year has flown by, but at the same time, so much has happened that was expected. And then again, a lot of things that have happened that have been unexpected. It's been a pretty wild year so far.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll agree with all of that. And then it doesn't help when we do the time change thing today. That's always really trying so hard to wrap my head around that. I mean, the concept of time is a fake one that we've put upon ourselves. And then, in the advent of the smartphones now, I mean, there are people who are like obsessed with the phenomenon of watching their phone automatically change the time and watching the hour just poof, disappear. Where did that one go? Very strange stuff. Very, very odd. I feel very strange, a little bit off. The sun being out at a different time than what I'm expecting is fine. I don't mind the sun early in the morning, but I know I'm not going to like it later on this evening when I go to have my dinner and it feels like it's midnight or something outside. So, but that is a perfect metaphor for how this year has gone. And that's what it feels like right now. We are approaching that dark winter time. We've also had the changing of the seasons. The weather is really messing with my head. I know it's messing with other people's heads. The psychology of the sunlight and, whether or not you're getting enough of it. Then we had a full moon just recently. It was Halloween. We've had a wonderfully not so going well ceasefire thing going on amidst all of that. Lots of political shenanigans here at home and abroad. The technocracy stuff has been like developing and building itself in the background at an more than unusually frightening speed, especially because of the fact that everybody seems to be missing it, not talking about it, not worrying about it, sometimes nay, even cheerleading for it, which is the most disturbing thing of all to me, Hesher. And then we had quite literally, just to sum up where we're at, we had Peter Thiel doing a world tour warning everybody about the Antichrist. Make this stuff up. So, yeah.
I don't know. Peter Thiel, all of a sudden an expert on the Antichrist. Okay, all right. Well,
How would he know?
yeah. Hmm. Does he know something we don't know? Does he have some experiences most people don't have? Perhaps. I don't know. Maybe it's all those weird, um, sort of techno elite sort of festivals and rituals they do. Has he been to Burning Man too many times in the CEO tent or something? I mean, did they learn something in there? Are they communing? Are they doing actual seances in there and communing with some sort of digital god or something? I have no idea,
Well,
but
they do from certain standpoint, and this is in reference to something you and Patrick were discussing last week because I wasn't able to join the show, but I wanted to comment on it. But they do make strange bedfellows, as it were, with the current quote unquote conservative administration because you guys were discussing about whether or not some of these tech bros were of a particular sexual persuasion, and yes, all of them are, and it's not a secret, it's not supposition. They are openly. A lot of them have husbands and stuff. These guys. So it's just very odd that they would cozy up so nice and tight with the current administration that seems to bark to everybody how conservative and ultra right and Christian and this and that. And I'm just like, well, technically that don't fly in that department. But I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, again, but not supposition. You didn't have to, it's not, oh, is he or isn't he? Yeah, they all are for the most part. It's pretty wild. It's shockingly wild, actually, percentage wise. It's like, whoa, hold on. So, what happened to that good old fashioned? I mean, I remember there was debates about like a Christian conservative pro-Trump type baker who would refuse to make a particular kind of cake. You know what I mean? Like, but we welcome these people with open arms, and I don't care about their lifestyles, but I care about what they're doing with the things that you see behind you in your image there, Hesher, because they're all over the news. If you're paying attention, most people aren't paying attention. And you have more than just the Palantir companies. You've got like the Israeli aerospace industry, you have Raphael and all the various drones and surveillance tech and things that they're building. And then, we're seeing all of these news stories all around us about, Big Brother style Stasi. We are going to literally make it illegal now in like the UK, in Canada, and right here now at home, it seems. We're right there on the precipice of making it illegal to have thoughts or post social media that are considered quote unquote anti Semitic, when in fact, the posts are generally critical of a secular nation by the name of Israel. And lots of concerns about how closely that, much closer than the previous mentioned bedfellows, how closely they've gotten in bed with the current administration, with our politics, with our government for quite a while. And these are the types of things that we discuss on this program. But this is what's all in my head right now, Hesher, weighing heavy on my heart, my mind, and possibly my soul, unfortunately.
Yeah, me too. This idea of Peter Thiel running around as some sort of, adjunct to the Trump administration, I think about, Spore and I were watching a documentary called Wild Wild Country, and it was about Osho. Osho was a cult leader. Um, he was like a Indian guru type guy, right? And my assessment on that is that like this Indian guru type guy saw all these affluent white European and American travelers in India basically looking for spirituality, right? Looking for God in some way, shape, or form outside of the traditions that they grew up in. And what happened, not to get too deep into the weeds on it, and some people will remember the Osho events in the mid 80s. I think in 1982, uh, he moved his followers to a tiny town in Oregon. It had 40 people in it. And over a span of a year or two, he brought 8,000 people, 8,000 followers to this town, this rural town in Oregon, and they completely took it over. Um, they had vast amounts of money, endless money. And anyways, they were showing some of the like cult ritual stuff that was going on in there. And when it came right down to it, it's like, yeah, it's sort of this like free love, freedom thing, right? Like it sounds good on the face of it. But then when you zoom out and you look at everything that went on in the little ecosphere of this cult, uh, it was all the bad stuff. all the bad stuff, poisonings, attempted murders, bombings. What else? The sex cult aspect of it was rank, was ridiculous. And these people filmed everything. They filmed everything. They were like, they used cameras. They used expensive cameras to harass people around town and to document, their commune. So they have footage of these people in these like uh these like orgiastic you know meditative, I'm using air quotes there for the radio listeners, um freakouts basically. And it just made me think of Burning Man for some reason. I was like, oh, okay, so like this is the same framework basically that you would find at a Burning Man, except instead of one like frail old transparent Indian guru type guy who probably just a grifter who recognized the capitalistic potential of all these people coming to him and behaving in the way that he does, and then adds the whole like sex commune thing into it, and it's like, oh, okay, I see. So how is that different from Burning Man? Well, it's different from Burning Man because at Burning Man you've got a whole tribe of CEO type dudes who think they are gurus basically, right? That's why CEOs do the all the weird CEO dance and all the weird hype stuff, the campus style treatment that they give their employees and all that. That's total cult leader stuff, dude. And we've seen enough reports on what goes down in some of those Burning Man elite tents to know that it's probably not a whole lot different than Osho's stuff, except they've got what, EDM and uh MDMA. I don't know, man. But it's very, yeah, the techno gurus, right. Techno gurus. That's what they want to be. I think there's an episode of Black Mirror actually where one of the kids, one of the dudes that was one of the kids in the 70s show plays a tech guru who's like hiding out on some mountain or something like that. I mean, this is such a cliche at this point, but we're going to let Peter Thiel tell us about the Antichrist, the guy who is literally using artificial intelligence to create an helm, a panopticon of authoritarian surveillance. I mean, I don't know what sounds why that guy would be anyone the public would go to on discussions about the Antichrist.
Oh, I mean, it could be just as simple as him grifting. I mean, I don't know.
Well, that would fit the model and the archetype, wouldn't
Well,
it?
it's funny. I don't know if you've ever read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, written
Oh
by
yeah, yeah.
Douglas Adams. Okay, well, I mean, it's been a while since I read it, but I read it multiple times, so I do remember distinctly as part of the plot involving the special supercomputer that they had built called Deep Thought, which was created to come up with the answer to life, the universe, and everything. And then, it took a very long time to get there. And then ultimately it just spit out the number 42 and everyone was quite confused. And then the computer explained, well, it's because y'all didn't really quite understand what the question was. So they created another computer to figure out what the great question was, the question to the answer of the life, the universe, and everything, yada, yada. But the first iteration of it, when they created the Deep Thought, what had happened was for the eons, the large amount of time that it took for them to build that supercomputer, or after it came, I mean, just this concept, this idea that the computer, the technology was going to be able to answer these things, which were usually only able to be done so by religions and philosophers, all those people were out of business. Okay. And then what happened was a phenomenon of punditry, television and radio and media, where all they were talking about was this technology and predicting what it was. So the online and media personalities became the new preachers of this new religion, the new advocates for it. I'm muddying this quite a bit, but readers and fans know what I'm talking about. But it's interesting because we're seeing a lot of the same type of thing happening with the advent of these technologies, like, the algorithms with the social media, the AI, the chatbot, the Groks, the everything apps, the brain chip coming soon, kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What you said there about 42 for some reason made me think of the Tool song 42 and 7, I believe it's called. And I looked up 42 and 7 while you were talking. You won't believe this.
No,
All
it's
of the
inspired. Yeah.
all of the initial hits that came up were about the 6-7 TikTok thing. Like, isn't that bizarre? I mean,
That's impossible because the TikTok thing didn't happen until what's going on here? See what is going on? We're in a time warp. This is Twilight Zone,
the
everybody.
internet
They
is
flipped a
dead, man.
switch.
I'm afraid the internet has died. We are basically in a zombified internet right now. Like we are in the rotting husk of what the internet used to be. I mean, this is for anyone that doesn't know. Let me just put some context on that. We hadn't planned on talking about this whole 6-7 thing. I had considered it, but it's essentially if you watch South Park, you probably know a little bit about it, or if you have children, you might know something about it, but it's a slang phrase and it has no serious meaning whatsoever. And it's used for fun or a joke. And users on TikTok have associated the phrase with a rap song from last year called Doot Doot 6-7, and a meme involving a basketball player, one LaMelo Ball. So this these two numbers have turned into something that little kids and actually kids. I have videos of somewhere in my bookmarks. I have a video saved of a Whataburger here in Texas, I think, and it is completely jam packed with high school kids. And when someone's order comes, you can just see the place is buzzing like something crazy is about to happen. And then the person calling out the next order says, "Order number 6-7, you're ready." And the place just erupted. Like it was insane. And then the other day, I come home, Spore and I come home, and there's probably a 8-year-old in the driveway next to ours, and standing there with the adults. The adults are talking, and the adults are just talking, and this little girl just starts blurting out 6-7, 6-7, like she was possessed or something. Man, it was yeah, like she was gonna start like vomiting pea soup and doing 360s or something like that. Which I'll just leave that right there. That's sort of a cultural speed bump in the show today. But I brought it up because it affected my web search. And this is exactly what we've been talking about, Ruckus, is the internet basically just being dead. Like I'm just looking for lyrics or an analysis on an old Tool song. And what I get is TikTok brain garbage in my search hits. Fun.
That's right. It's like a combination of AI slop plus the Mandela effect plus the Hutchinson effect, I think.
Yeah, totally. Maybe the Doctor Strangelove effect too. Speaking of which, let's talk about the ceasefire for a second, Ruckus.
There was a ceasefire, a real
Yeah,
one? Did they really?
apparently on November 27th of 2024, there was a ceasefire announcement. But between that point, and I feel like there's been a couple since then, all of which we've kind of had to just, water off a duck's back basically on this show because we know what the numbers really look like. um, yeah. So here we go. On Ibrahim Mahid's X account, he's got a tally for us. So let's look at how this works. As far as Hezbollah goes, talking Lebanon here. Ground incursions, we've got 0. Maritime violations, we've got 0. Israeli casualties, killings, we've got 0. And Israelis wounded, we've got 0. Total violations, then, can you add that up for me, Ruckus? That's hard math. No? All right. I think it's a goose egg shaped number. And then we look
got a
at
33 in there somewhere, I bet.
yeah, right. And then we look at the Israeli violations, ground violations, 2,131 ground violations. Okay. What about air? Air violations, 2,815 air attacks. What about by sea? What about by sea? I can put that up there for you if you want. By sea, we've
I was going
got
to say that the air numbers already increased by a few
yeah.
since that report.
Thanks for mentioning that, because this
Yeah.
was posted on the 30th, so it's already 4 days old or so. Yeah, there you
Wild.
go. Israeli airstrike kills 4 in Lebanon, straining fragile ceasefire.
A
Uh,
ceasefire.
what ceasefire? I didn't know it was there. I mean, 2,131 ground violations, 2,815 air violations, 163 violations from sea. I wonder if that includes the Samud flotilla. Um, number of Lebanese killed, 302. Lebanese wounded, 588. So total
Plus a few more.
violations.
Plus a few
Yep,
more.
plus more, right? Because this is slightly few days old here. So that's 5,109 violations just in Lebanon, if I'm understanding this correctly. So, how's that ceasefire going?
Turns out those underground tunnels from Hamas went really far in various places, Hesher.
Yeah, wow. I mean, are they working with the boring company? How do they tunnel so far? I don't get it.
Well, hey, if history has taught us anything, that's actually a very real likely. I mean, if all of this was above board, if the enemies are really burrowing tunnels, I guarantee that the people who are, making tunnel they are helping both sides because they don't care. They just want the money. They just want to build the tunnels, right?
Right, right. Yeah. So there you go. We've talked about this on Sunday Wire a number of times. The idea of ceasefires. How many ceasefires and deals have been broken over the years, and it's pretty extensive. I mean, you can see that right there, and those numbers aren't even accurate because the slaughter just continues.
You know what it reminds me of, Hesher? I don't have a graphic for this. I wish I did. But you saw that movie Wayne's World?
Oh yeah.
Remember when they were playing street hockey?
Yes.
Yeah, they were just out in the middle of the street, but they had their little setup going and they were in full gear and everything. But they would have to stop every time a car would come, right? And they'd have to drag their equipment out of the road and let the car pass. And then they would be like, game on, and they would put the equipment back on and go back out there. That's kind of how this whole thing has been operating to me. It's been like that, right? Except
Mm-hmm.
the ceasefire is I don't know which part of the analogy it is, whether they're playing the game or they're letting the car pass. But yeah, it's just like no, this is silly, and then you hear like, oh goodness, we've seen some violence. Remember they were ramping up like all their street violence going. They're murdering people in the streets, and they were trying to make a big deal as if that was a violation of the ceasefire. And like, oh, we just heard that they're arming, they're getting guns and stuff, and then it turns out the IDF soldiers are the ones that gave them the guns and stuff like that. But here are actual valid violations of the said alleged ceasefire to a large degree with the numbers, with the facts, not propaganda coming from Hamas. Yet the world is just like, what a great ceasefire. Thanks, Trump. You're the peacemaker. We love you. Like, what?
Yeah. Well, when you're wanted by the International Court of Justice, and you can still travel the world with no problems and go sit in, Congress, and you can leave Israel and go to all these other places, even though you're a wanted fugitive from the ICJ and nothing happens. Well, why should why bother, respecting a ceasefire or anything like that? Like, yeah, what ceasefire? What ceasefire? What are you talking
What
about? What
what
ICJ?
happened?
What are you talking about?
What happened to that? Remember that whole like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Out the window with common sense and with the idea of conflict of interest ever since 2020, I guess.
Yeah, I'm afraid that that whole thing went into the bathtub with George W. Bush and is now just a finger painting of the insane. Just another finger painting of the insane right there from George W. Because it doesn't mean anything anymore. Nothing means anything anymore, it seems. I mean, everything's upside down. We live in Orwellian doublespeak world. where a ceasefire can include 5,109 violations from the people defending themselves and 0 violations from the attackers. I don't even see what I mean. It's hard to even form a sentence in Orwellian doublespeak land.
And yet again, it's biblical too, because of the whole something about signs of the times in the future and end times and satanic things about how like the inversion. So calling bitter sweet and calling sweet bitter and calling light dark and calling dark light, etc. I don't have the exact verse at hand. I forgot it, but yeah, it definitely applies to the situation. So many of the things that we're dealing with are very biblical and apocalyptic feeling, and not just so. They're literally like, oh yeah, no, our entire policy is built around it. Oh, well, that's kind of weird, right?
Right. Knocking on someone's door. Hey, your house is mine now because my book says so. Right? It's mine. It says so in my book. What do you mean you've lived here for 100 years? My book says it's mine. Okay. Well, I mean, if that's the level that we're working at, we are not living in the future we were promised. We are not living in the shiny, happy people, utopia, globalized future that they told us we were going to get back when we were in middle school, are we?
I was never promised that. I don't know where you went to school.
Hey, man, I was told we were going to save the environment and we were going to stop war and we were going to stop homelessness. And that was totally something that we could do in modern times as 21st century men and women, right? But no, apparently we are looking to technocrats to inform us about the woes and dangers of the Antichrist while we are sending what are we at, like $325 billion to a genocidal nation whose leaders, many of whom are wanted by the ICJ. Totally fine. And think about all of the, like, remember they made us watch Schindler's List. They like seems like World War II was like the only piece of history that they banged into our heads for long periods of time every year in school. We were told that this would never happen again, or that America, at least, and the West would not stand for this happening again, and that the United Nations was formed to stop genocide from happening and all this stuff, right? And here we are, 32, 37 trillion dollars in debt as a nation, and we're breaking off $325 billion this year, so that these guys can continue doing exactly what they told us would never happen again when we were youngsters. With our money. It's not even our money. It's like our children's money at this point. When you're $37 trillion in debt, you're selling off generations of people basically to a genocide, to a war. So yeah. And that
Seems like
seems
life is one long series of disappointments, of broken promises, Hesher.
yeah. Hey, there's some truth we can cling to, right? There's something we can hold on to.
And they said death and taxes are the only two things. No, there's more.
Yeah.
Propaganda, genocide, lies, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, technocracy, authoritarianism, uh eternal feedback loops of slop.
Your country blowing smoke up your ass about how great it is.
Yeah.
That's
You're
true no matter where you live, I promise you.
right. Yeah. And if you're lucky enough to live in a place that only has a two-party system like us, well, hey, blowing a lot of smoke up your ass about how they're at each other's throats when really they're not. No. I don't think so.
There could be worse things going up that area, Hesher.
Yeah. Oh, we were told we would get health care too. My goodness. How's that working out for everybody? Uh, let's not go there again. We don't need to relitigate that one. Yes, that's right. America first. Great and beautiful, big smoke up our asses. Yep. Hey, it's a family show, America First PHL. Arses, we say arses here. Um, Yeah, and by the
Those
way,
poor
that
donkeys. Oh my.
uh, back to what we were talking about with the time change, that may have messed up some people on the show schedule today. So we apologize if the time change screwed you up as far as getting here on time for the show. But you know what? It screws us up too, because it screws us up big time. Like ever since I started doing Sunday Wire for the last, what, like 12 years, 10 years, 10 to 12 years or so, the time change has been so traumatic because it's just like we don't do it at the same time. They don't do it in the UK at the same time as we do it here in the United States. So there's like this 3 or 4 week period where we're offset by an hour. So we're in that window right now. And let me tell you what, when you're like Ruckus, myself, Patrick, Basil, and you're trying to coordinate with people around the world and around the country in a during time change, it becomes, math is hard. It becomes a math is hard sort of day. But
Yeah, I'd be very hard pressed to try to figure out right now if the UK listeners who were not aware of the time change in America showed up to the show an hour late or an hour early. And then no matter what time they showed up, in our mind, from our point of view, they're late or they were early. It's just, I'm so confused.
yeah. So again, we're just gonna have to live with that for a couple of weeks. But oh
When the
man,
crazy, sad reality is that we are all still occupying the exact same time and space as it was like 24 hours ago, but the number on our screen has changed, which is
yeah,
wild.
right. I mean, I haven't changed the time on the microwave and the stove yet. So I walk through the kitchen and it's like, oh, I'm late. It's like, oh wait, no. Woke up this morning, thought I was late for the show. So I'm right there with those of you that thought we were late, but maybe some of you thought we were early. I have no idea. It's again, math is hard. But yeah, um, I don't know what else to say about what's going on in Lebanon there with that particular ceasefire. Clearly, it's yet another example of what ceasefire means to these people. It means bupkis. It means diddly squat. Apparently. Oh, that's a good question. Who uses microwaves? Wow. I don't actually. I use it for a timer and I use it to put my phone inside of if I want a house Faraday bag, and that's about it. Oh, and a clock, but it's not as good a clock as a cell phone because it doesn't magically change its own time. But yeah. Um so speaking of the flotilla, Ruckus, our colleague and friend Iara Motorelli has a video up. I think I'm going to play it. Let's see. Let me read the tell you what. I'll put it on screen so everybody can see it. And there it is. Bring that up in size a little bit. Okay. So this was posted on Halloween, so 2 days ago. Today, Berlin-based activist, organizer, and fellow global Samud Flotilla participant Gubara Sinar and myself observed a court hearing for a pro-Palestine activist on trial. After multiple failed attempts to criminalize the popular slogan, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," the Berlin justice system is turning to full-fledged fascism. Normally using the slogan is prosecuted under the quote unquote use of unconstitutional symbols and would be handled by a local court. This time, the state court is accusing the person of distribution of propaganda material of unconstitutional and terrorist organizations. This accusation means that the case is handled at the state's higher court. In other words, by linking the slogan to a charge of terrorist propaganda, the state was able to escalate these proceedings and overstep the local courts. What does this mean? Unlike in normal court cases where an appeal means the re-examination of the case, the appeal in this case will lead immediately to the highest court in the country, the federal court. The state is using the opportunity to go after the popular slogan, so any negative decision can and will be used for all other cases criminalizing "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," quote unquote. So let's take a look at
I'm here
the
at a
video.
Berlin courthouse where we just observed a historic hearing where for the very first time a Palestinian solidarity activist is being tried, not in a local court as usual, but in a higher state court. The state has escalated this case by labeling the political slogan "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free" as terrorist propaganda. This label turns a case about free expression into a dangerous legal precedent that could affect thousands of existing cases and in turn further criminalize any solidarity with Palestine. It's increasingly clear that Berlin is rapidly descending into full-fledged fascism, where the state not only suppresses dissent, but actively rewrites the meaning of justice. Those who speak out against a genocide and raise their voices for human rights are punished, while war criminals are protected.
This case is not just about one person, it's about a broader effort to silence an entire movement, to make the defense of Palestinian life itself a crime. We're living in an upside-down reality where peaceful protesters and human rights advocates are prosecuted, while Benjamin Netanyahu and his cabinet of war criminals continue their war crimes without consequence. This entire process was deliberately constructed to guarantee a biased outcome. The case was arranged so that it would land before a specific judge, one who already holds a clear political position on Palestine. Every step of the legal process here reveals a system designed not for justice, but for conviction. Today's case is a clear violation of due process and of the most basic principle of justice.
Germany can silence and distort the truth all they want, but the world stands with Palestine, and the people will not allow the struggle for freedom and equality to be criminalized. Justice for Palestine is justice for all. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
Yeah. So that's a pretty scary precedent right there, but kind of right in line with some of the things we've seen here in the United States, right? Courts taking on things that are not necessarily appropriate with judges who have very politicized and public viewpoints. You can just tell where this is headed.
It's not like it was happening in Germany. Oh, holy crap, man. Another lie. They were like, well, history doesn't necessarily repeat, but sometimes sometimes it literally repeats.
Yeah.
Like, wow, time and place. I mean, not the time, but the place. And this is, you can't make this stuff up. Yeah. I mean, we saw the slippery slopes they were going down. They were like, wow, this is eerily reminiscent of 1920s, 1930ish era, right? During the pandemic day in Germany. We were like, whoa, hold on there, buddy. Yeah, man, this is crazy. I hope that, I mean, because a precedent could be set to where like, hey, you can't do that. You can't come after ours. But I doubt it. You know, they're definitely going to weaponize this and use this to their advantage and set the legal precedent in the negative direction. I don't know. I mean, we can hope, we can pray. I'm a little skeptical, especially considering the place, especially considering the situation. Yeah, no, we're not putting that emoji up anywhere under the current circumstances. Thank you, listener. But anyway, yeah, no, frightening stuff, wild. And it is happening everywhere. We are seeing this happen, as I mentioned earlier. There's lots of this stuff going on in the UK, going on in Canada, and then here at home, not just in the United States of America, but right here in Texas. Hesher, as we discussed on a recent episode of The Boiler Room. Wow, I mean, are we really here? I thought we would see the aliens before we came back to this point, but I was wrong.
Yeah. Sadly mistaken on that one. We would be much happier to be protesting Project Bluebeam than a literal genocide and a loss of freedom of speech. Ruckus, you mentioned Canada and Texas. Let's talk about Canada and then let's talk about Texas. I've got, there's a great article up at 21stcenturywire.com, and it is via Global Affairs, the weaponization of anti-Semitism in Canada. Okay, what's Canada doing? We got a view into what Germany's doing there. Thank you, Yara. We appreciate your work per usual. And so a recent report argues that the National conversation about anti-Semitism in Canada is being weaponized to justify Israel's actions in Gaza. According to the Jewish Faculty Network, the JFN, several influential pro-Israel organizations, including B'nai Birth Canada, the Friends of Simon Wiesenthal Center, and especially the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs, are shaping public opinion to secure broad support in Israel. In October of 2025, JFN sounded the alarm and introduced the CIJA report, which is titled A Pattern of Anti-Palestinian Racism and Genocide Denial at the Center for Jewish and Israel and Jewish Affairs. There's an embedded video you can watch, which we recommend. But the report accuses the CIJA, a Zionist and Jewish advocacy organization and an agency of the Jewish Federations of Canada, United Israel Appeal, of promoting racism and dehumanization of Palestinians while stifling criticism from Palestinian advocates and dissenting Jewish voices alike. Definitely worth a read over there at 21stcenturywire.com. But that one, Ruckus, kind of reminds me of, I mean, I'm not surprised by this. We've got the same thing going on here in this country. Is there a Western country where there are not groups like this doing activities like this? I'm trying to think of one.
Okay. Well, and by the way, it's B'nai B'rith, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The problem is that normally when you hear about this type of stuff, it's like people are accusing these organizations of doing these things, and they're like, we would never, how dare, what are you, anti-Sem, like, but here they literally are, and we know they are. Everyone knows they are. It's like you generally can't accuse them of doing these things, but it's totally okay for them to just do these things, and or sometimes openly admit them, sometimes even involve monetary remuneration, bribery, $7,000 paychecks to various influencers. Now, these aren't TikTokers, of course, but this is a highly influential body. There's that word again, right? But yeah, no, it's disgusting and not shocking. We all know. I mean, but I'm like, is that really, is that what you got to do for your case to embolden, to make yourself look better? You have to do so by making the other people look like garbage, dehumanize them, literally destroy them, their minds, their bodies, and their souls, like kill them, ethnically cleanse them, genocide them, remove them from their land. But it is what it is. And here we are. And we all know. But I guess it's happening in Canada too, eh?
Right. What's that about? I don't know. I guess we know. All right. Well, let's actually, before we go to Texas, while we're talking about the influence of the lobby, if you will, we should probably talk about the geofencing also. I'm pretty sure we haven't talked about that on Sunday Wire yet. Have we? I don't think we have, but it's worth revisiting even if we have. So let's see here. Yes, share this one. Israel to spend up to $4.1 million to bolster support among Christians in Western U.S. So, with its popularity in the United States crashing, Israel is bankrolling what organizers say will be the largest campaign of its kind to bolster support among evangelical churches. And just to pause reading right there for a second, we saw this, right? We played the clip here on Sunday Wire of Netanyahu with a circle of pseudo-influencers talking about exactly this. So we've heard it from the horse's mouth, if you will. Until recently seen as an unshakable base of support for the Jewish state, Israel's foreign ministry has hired an American firm to run the campaign with plans to spend as much as $4.1 million on marketing aimed at Christians across the western part of the country, according to newly filed federal disclosures. Now, some people might be thinking, well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? So they want to spread the message. Okay, well, a lot of people want to market, right? Marketing. This is marketing, right, Ruckus?
Propaganda is marketing, sure.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, no, this isn't in this case. Yeah, it's like it's a product, and yes, this is targeted advertising, is what this is, Hesher.
Yes. Okay. So, are they marketing like most people normally market? I don't know. Let's find out. The documents filed under the FARA Act, the Foreign Agents Registration Act, reveal that Show Faith by Works LLC. Okay, we talked about this on Boiler Room. Show Faith by Works LLC will execute what it bills as the quote largest Christian church geofencing campaign in U.S. history unquote. A
Hold on,
newly
can we pause right there?
yeah.
So it's not the first one. Just want to say, Anyway, go on.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a newly formed company with a San Diego address. Show Faith by Works is run by one Chad Schinger, something like that, a prominent Christian conservative activist in California. And what they're gonna do, I'll just paraphrase the rest of it. What they're gonna do is they're going to set up geofencing. Many of you know what geofencing is. If you don't know what geofencing is, they take a device. I'm pretty sure it's a highly controlled device by the FCC, but that may not be either here nor there. In this case, for some reason, they set up basically fake cell phone towers. I think these devices are called Stingrays. That's what they used to use for this, at least. And they set up several of these around a location, and they basically put themselves in between the normal cellular networks and the users, right? So all of a sudden, you think you're on, your normal carrier's, cell tower. Say you're at church, right? Take the family, dress nice. Everybody probably has a smartphone on them. Go to church, silence the smartphone, right? Silence the smartphone at church. But when you turn it back on, you discover you're getting targeted advertisements, pro-Israel targeted advertisements. How can this be? How can a private company, an LLC, a fairly new LLC, use expensive, high-tech, FCC-regulated Stingray-style devices to mock, right, to create mock cell phone towers, fake cell phone towers, and then are in charge of all your inbound data, can inject things into your device? It begs the question, can they inject other things to your device? Can they extract things from your device? I mean, we're basically talking about a foreign government here, right, doing an information operation. What are they doing with everybody's phones? So this they set this up around the country in many states, actually. This is pretty crazy stuff, Ruckus, that to think that you could do this. And we used the example on Boiler Room, like, what if you and I created an LLC? What if three of you in the chats created an LLC? Do you think you would be allowed to take money from a foreign government, millions of dollars from a foreign government, take highly regulated FCC devices, devices regulated by the FCC, and then undercut all of the cellular providers and basically get into everybody's smartphones? I mean, I don't know. It sounds highly illegal to me, but I'm not an expert on FCC law, but I have a feeling there's something else going on here, Adam.
Well, like all technologies, so this can be used for good. Forgive me, I might be mildly sarcastic here. I mean, for example, this type of technology could be used, here's a good example, used with child location services, if you're into such a thing, which can notify the parents in case a child leaves a designated area. Why did little Timmy or Susie, he's not in school, and my phone app just told me, or whatever, right? Okay. Your home, your electronic monitoring systems, you can use your phone to unlock your door. How neat is that? There's lots of people with these smart homes. All this smart technology stuff. Here's a fun one, Hesher. Did you know that they are looking at and/or in some places, I don't know where, they use this in conjunction with smart guns, smart firearms technologies, where if you are inside of a certain particularly geofenced location, oh, look, you pull the trigger and nothing happens, therefore creating an actual real-life gun-free zone. Unless, of course, the shooter comes in without one of those smart guns. I don't know what you're going to do about that. And then, of course, we've got the application with the vehicles. The criminal steals the car, and then, you know, it's passing through past all these different. We can track them, we can find them. We don't even need to use the overhead helicopter or send the cops out there. We can just track where they're going. We can probably use AI to determine where they're probably going and just have the drone with the bomb attached to it waiting for him at his final destination in more ways than one. Of course, we witnessed how some of this technology was used during the pandemic for the contact tracing. And it was creating like its own little mini infinite geofences within everybody's phones. We all became our own miniature geofence. You know what I mean? And then, of course, we're witnessing what's happening here. But then, of course, it is known that the geofence can be used for location-based messaging, for communication, stuff like that. I used to watch these videos all the time about how retailers use this type of technology inside their stores to track consumer behavior. In fact, you and I, we were out in town not that long ago at a restaurant, and one of you like made a payment with your individual information, and it somehow knew who the other person was with us. Like, wait a minute. It was because like it's tracking all of the stuff inside your phone. It knows you because your phone knows everything about you, and it knows where you are. And sometimes they make little contracted deals between. By the way, there's like something like 250 patents involving cellular geofencing stuff, mostly filed by IBM and Microsoft. Go figure. But yeah, so now one of the things that we had heard in the news recently, and I brought this up on Boiler Room because it's very fascinating to me, is the fact that allegedly, without their permission, some people were opted into this special program on their devices when they attended the Charlie Kirk funeral event in Arizona. And it meant that basically in association with these churches, the largest ever geofencing mass propaganda brainwashing thing, or however they worded it there in that article, those are my words about the brainwashing thing, that now when those people who have been tagged with their phone because like, oh, this person attended the Charlie Kirk event, and look, they identify as a Christian. How do we know? Because they're in attendance at a Christian church right now, because we know where their phone is, we know who they are, etc. And now, while they're at church, after they leave church, maybe before the next time they get to church, maybe even at home, I don't know how far this goes, they will be served special targeted messages just for them, reminding those loving Christians how important it is to support Israel. And I think I don't need to tell the listeners and viewers of this program where we go from here with that one, do I, Hesher?
Probably not. Probably not. These are publicly available documents. You know, they were filed with the U.S. Department of Justice under the FARA in September. And one of the proposed tools, as we've mentioned, is geofencing, which draws a virtual boundary around places of worship and sending targeted ads to cell phones that enter the boundary. According to the documents, the campaign plans to, quote, geofence the actual boundaries of every major church in California, Arizona, Nevada, and Colorado, and all Christian colleges during worship time. And that's not even the full extent of it, okay? That's the states that have full coverage. Texas is included in the list as well for my Texans. A list of churches attached to the documents includes 30 Phoenix area churches, 2 in Prescott, 6 in Tucson, a whole bunch of them there listed. See, there you go. You can see it on screen right here. They've got photos, screenshots of the document up there. It's and according to the documents, the campaign, again, Show Faith by Works, which Ruckus broke down in sort of a biblical sense on Boiler Room. Recommend you check that out, because there is a bit of an inversion in their name just in and of itself. But so their company, political consultant Chad Stinger, represents Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and their $3.26 million budget is coming from Havas Media, a company that has received Israeli government money for other influence campaigns. And the slideshow attached to the documents details the campaign's planned messaging. It says the digital ads aim to, quote, increase positive associations with the nation of Israel while linking the Palestinian population with extremist factions. So,
Could you imagine what would happen, Hesher, if it was China or Russia doing that?
yeah.
In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there often a hotly contested debate about whether or not certain media organizations are serving as nothing but propaganda mouthpieces for the aforementioned countries, and how terrible that is, and how many different times we've tried to just shut them down, such as Epoch Times. Oh, well, the Epoch Times just is pro China propaganda. The Russia RT, of course, we all know about that one. In fact, some of us apparently receive paychecks from them. I didn't even know that. That's neat. But it's because of that like as soon as I had a Twitter account, I was just somehow automatically labeled a Russian bot because of my association with people like you and Patrick Henningsen. Thanks a lot, guys. It's all your fault. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, this would not fly. This makes no sense. I don't know how this is even possibly legal or constitution. I thought we had rules and things in place. We had like we're not even allowed to propagandize against ourselves.
Oh, well, never mind.
Never mind. There you go. I don't know. This is wild to me. This is a big problem. I take this personally because of the Christian element. And then, of course, this is all being used to justify, the genocide and all the things. But it's going to go much further than that because we're already seeing the reports. So there's going to be more of this, like, hatred towards a certain particular religious group because of what they're doing to not just Israel, but then, oh, well, if that's not, we're going to hit you right in the heartstrings because look what they're doing to you Christians too, that type of thing. So again, it's like, it's all propaganda. This isn't news. This isn't fact. I mean, buried in there are news, are facts, are real issues that need to be discussed. But instead, it's just being served up in one big steaming pile of here. Swallow, we're going to choke you with this propaganda and brainwash you into thinking one way or another. And that should be illegal. And that is also an inversion in and of itself, Hesher, because last time I checked, the creator, whatever you believe in, gave us free will. Let that sink in.
Yeah. War propaganda in your church, war propaganda from another country in your Christian colleges. No actual cell phone signals that are going through the services that you pay for at those locations. War propaganda supporting a genocide and ethnic cleansing. Okay, so if Venezuela was to hire a company in California and do this, would our government be okay with that? Would the FCC all of a sudden say, oh, wait, actually, not anyone can geofence wherever they want and then pump war propaganda into American citizens' cell phones? I mean, I don't have any penal code numbers to hand, but I would bet my bottom dollar that there's a law there, a policy there, something there being broken, because you can't even go buy a ham radio and use it improperly, right? You have to have a license for that. I see that Ruckus is having a tech problem there. Don't worry about it, my friend. Don't worry about it. Maybe punch out and punch back in. There he goes. We'll see if we can get Ruckus back with us in a moment here. So it goes even further than that with this story, believe it or not. And what is this? Okay, again, I got to say this again. It says the digital ads aim to, quote, increase positive associations with the nation of Israel while linking Palestinian population with extremist factions. Who are you going to increase this with? I mean, we have I think, a stalled out and hopefully dwindling population of people in this country that support this. I don't think you're adding any new people. You're not going to create new Zionists with your geofencing. I'm sorry, political Zionism doesn't work that way, I don't think. In fact, it is waning here in this culture, big time, because we see the fruits of their actions, and they are deathly, death fruit. They're also proposing creating the 10-7 experience. Please stop. What is the 10-7 experience? You're probably asking yourself. Well, it's a mobile custom built trailer that would use virtual reality, wall length TVs, and props to quote unquote highlight some of the atrocities from 10-7 at different churches and Christian colleges. That's right. That's right. A mobile virtual reality digital museum of propaganda. Unreal. The campaign's potential hires include a Hollywood coordinator on a $50,000 salary who would use Hollywood connections to build the trailer. So there's a slideshow in the original FARA documents that you can look at. It says that the campaign aims to, quote, combat low American evangelical Christian approval of the nation of Israel, end quote. Historically, evangelicals have overwhelmingly favored U.S. strong support for Israel, but several polls have found that, I'm not even going to finish reading that line because I already know what they have found, that support is slipping over the last 2 years, 2.5 years in particular. You do the math. Slipping big time. And now that you've got big names like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens on that train too, that is having way more influence than any geofencing operation that this country and their associated LLCs, talking to you, Show Faith by Works. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can traverse this one. I think that shark may have been jumped already. It's amazing, right? To think that, for those of us that have been around a little bit longer, that went to church in the days where we didn't have a cell phone, right? It's amazing to think that every single person inside of a location, digitally, invisibly fenced in location, can just be pumped personalized, customized war propaganda in your church. Isn't that crazy? Used to be, back when I was a kid, when we used to have to hike 5 miles up a hill in the snow to get to school. But when I was a kid, the propaganda came from the current propaganda. Of course, you're in school, indoctrination and all that stuff, but even that wasn't as gnarly as it is now. But your propaganda came to you in the evening news and in the daily newspaper and the Sunday paper, pretty much, right? I mean, those were the places you would see Dan Rather or whatever, read articles from Gary Webb or stuff like that. But you could be pretty certain that when you left the house, nobody would know what you watched, what you're interested in, what your bias was, unless you talked to them about it. You didn't have to worry that, somebody would sit behind your teenage daughter in church and whisper in their ear, Hey, did you know that from the river to the sea, Palestine must be free is a terrorist slogan? Did you know that? Have you seen these pictures of the beheaded babies? Hey, little kid. Or what if you brought grandma? Did you in 1987? Did you have to worry about some creep sitting behind grandma and whispering in her ear? Hey, yeah, hey, guess what? Israel's awesome. I mean, it sounds ludicrous, right? It sounds completely ludicrous. But that's where we are now. Everybody has a cell phone. You go to a protest, you go to a church, apparently, in many places. You quite literally, your connection to the outer world, which you probably shouldn't even bring with you to church, but I don't know, is sitting there just getting pumped with foreign countries' propaganda, war propaganda, genocide propaganda. Holy crap. It's such a strange reality that we live in right now. Imagine that, going to church and just being phone raped. Sorry, your phone just got raped. We have war propaganda inbound. At best, all you're going to get is war propaganda, right? Foreign country propaganda. You may get a rootkit installed. You may get spyware installed. You may get, who knows? Who knows? If they have, what did Adam say? 250 plus, copyrights, or not copyrights, but, things, the invention things. I don't know why I'm blanking on the word, but they have 250 of those patents. You think they're all about just sending messages into a phone? Do you think some of them might be about extracting things from phones or inserting malware onto smartphones? I don't know. Just asking. All right. Well, I know Ruckus was having some computer woes. Maybe he's had some spyware installed on his phone. Who knows? Maybe maybe Central Texas has been geofenced. I don't know. But it's not looking good here. The fact that this can happen is downright scary. There's also a great article up at 21st Century Wire called Olive Farms Under Siege, a story of resilience in the West Bank. So farmers are losing orchards to land seizure, arson, and settler attacks. Of course, global media rarely reports on the agricultural dimension of this conflict. And olive oil, right? Olives are something that come from that location. And you would not believe how much olive oil goes around this planet, across the pizza if you prefer. But it does serve as an economic engine, and it is a cultural heritage for Palestinians. So, this is a case of weaponizing scarcity, perhaps leveraging food systems in a modern conflict. So that's a good one to check out. It's up at 21st Century Wire. Highly recommend that you check that one out. Looks like we've got a ruckus among us once again. Adam, welcome back.
Yep. Luckily, Elon Musk called me up and said, "Bro, I got you back," and he hooked me up with some Starlink, so we're good. Just kidding.
All
Yeah, I
right.
don't know. My microphone and everything stopped working, and I had to restart my entire computer. Yay. But I got to listen to what you said, so that was cool. By the way, for just so everybody knows, what I was quoting there about the patents was from a Wikipedia entry that said that cellular geofencing for global tracking is cited in the United States Patent Office over 240 times by the usual suspects, major companies such as IBM and Microsoft since 1995. That's cellular geofencing for global tracking since 1995. 5.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sure this is all just in a quick knee-jerk reaction to the current affairs that are happening, right, Hesher?
Oh yeah, 95. So we've got what 30 years of development on this technology. I mentioned I've actually been exposed to Stingray technology in a work environment years back, and it was pretty impressive what it could do. I must say, very, very impressive.
I like the little miniature versions the cops drive around with on their
Yeah.
laptops that steal everything off your cell phone. That's
Oh
cool.
yeah, you better bet that this technology has been miniaturized over the years to the point where to a
I
couple.
can't wait till they put those on little drones, Hesher, that are flying silently over everybody's houses at night while they sleep and they have no clue.
Who's to say they're not already?
Well, I would never say that without any evidence.
I hear some drone sounds outside now and again. I always hope and assume that it's a crafty neighbor with a cool toy that they're playing with, but you don't know. We don't know. I mean, the drone technology is absolutely insane. I think that one of the things that is interesting about where we're at with the technocracy right now is sort of the like dividing lines. There's these invisible sort of like conversational dividing lines between drone tech and between, comms tech and between AI and between robotics and militarized robotics and all these things. But it's like we really don't ever see, or we rarely see, sort of the fusion of all of those assets into one sort of grid. I mean, we're kind of seeing it with like drone swarm technology, but again, it's like it's still, they're not really telling us how much AI is involved in a drone swarm. You know what I mean? We kind of just assume it's this, very like old school style software, that makes it happen. But man, you start thinking about these things, the confluence of all of these different things, and it's like we really have only scratched. We're just seeing the tip of the iceberg as to like what kind of technocratic, full spectrum dominance things are possible with all these techs put together.
Well, I mean, we generally don't have to use our imagination. We get it. But only recently are we, some of us, a lot of us, being exposed to just exactly what depths is being used in this particular instance by, foreign countries, nonetheless. Right? Bam! Right in your face. Whatever happened to not in my backyard, right, Hesher?
Yeah.
There's another incredibly fascinating art. I mean, this one was really. Did you see this article up about Project Nimbus on 21st Century Wire? Do you
Oh
have
yeah,
that one
yeah.
on your list?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. It's like we got companies like Google, like Microsoft, and what are those companies in the business of? Well, Microsoft owns my computer practically, probably quite literally, because I have a Windows 11. Google owns my little big brother in my pocket spy device because it's an Android, right? And both of these companies have shady business dealings with, there's that country again, Israel, and the workers, they find out about it, and sometimes because they have hearts and souls and minds of their own and a free will, they decide to be upset about the fact that their companies are doing these things, and they make a big stink about it. If they did not do that for the vast majority of the situation, Hesher, I think most people would have no clue this type of stuff was going on. But this one in particular was interesting about the Project Nimbus, which you may be familiar with.
Yeah. Let me just read the first couple paragraphs here for our audio listeners. In 2021, Google and Amazon inked a $1.2 billion contract with the Israeli government, a deal to provide Netanyahu's administration and its military with advanced cloud computing and AI services that would come to haunt both companies. To secure the lucrative Project Nimbus contract, the tech giants agreed to disregard their own terms of service and sidestep legal orders by tipping Israel off if a foreign court demands its data, a stunning departure from industry norms. The contract stipulations are unprecedented. Google and Amazon are prohibited from restricting how Israel uses their products, even if this use breaches their terms of services. Should either company attempt to pull the plug, they face severe financial penalties and potential litigation. This clause reportedly helped them win the contract over Microsoft, which refused to accept similar terms, and it goes on, and it's pretty shocking, man, that this is the way it is right now. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but
It's all about money. I mean, this is
yeah.
the age old thing that I hinted at earlier, is the fact that these companies usually it's the weapons manufacturers. So this is where, like, you have to, like, oh, holy crap, I get it now. Like everything has literally been weaponized against us. The weapons manufacturers are the ones who are creating the bombs, the guns, the bullets, the weapons that are used by both sides. And they don't care which side wins the war as long as there's a war, because war means, hey, that's good for business, right? And you look at these companies, and what are they doing? We're like, oh yeah, no, this is for your convenience, we're making your life easier. Your computers, how could you even operate or have a job or do anything in your life without your personal computer at home? That's all we're into. No, these devices, these things, they're weapons. They're weapons of mass destruction, Hesher, and we're only just now realizing the extent to which that is true, and some of the nefarious ways that they have been weaponized against us. We were discussing on Boiler Room whether or not it can physically harm us, some of this technology, and I don't mean like the pagers blowing up, but quite literally, we know quite well by now, I would hope, that the science is out there. The declassified documents from the militaries are out there about what electromagnetic frequencies, microwave technologies, directed energy weapons, if you can believe it. Yeah, and I'm like, so what are these things truly doing to us? To what degree have they been weaponized against us, Hesher? And clearly, the makers of these technology don't really care. They're not really technically picking a side. Let that sink in, by the way, Israel. Is Microsoft and Google like best buddies with you and allowing these things because they honestly care about your cause, or do they care about your money? Wow. And does Israel even care? No, they don't care either. Like, hey, well, whatever. We'll just keep throwing money your way. We'll scratch your back. You scratch ours. It's all good in the hood. It's all good in the hood until a certain someone from up above come down and says, okay, we're done here. That was it.
Yeah. This is let me read this passage here too. The leaked documents reveal that the tech giants agreed to terms that they have never accepted before. Not only can they not restrict how Israel uses their products, even if that use violates their own terms of services, but they also cannot pull out, even under public pressure. In other words, they crucially surrendered their ability to enforce the ethical guidelines they so publicly tout. Now, that is important. You think about the domination, the jackboot that has been on the neck of so many people. There are literally people in jail right now for memes, for saying things, for posting things, all over the place, right? For breaking terms of service, okay? Not that breaking of tech companies' terms of service is necessarily illegal at all. 9 out of 10 times, 99 out of 100 times. But you think about the amount of censorship that these same organizations applied hand in hand with government, with NGOs, with foreign governments, to normal people starting in 2017, ramping up all the way to 2020, then going ludicrous speed between 2020 and 2022, early 2022. You think about that. You think about the lost income you have. You think about the lost followers you have. You think about the accounts you had that you worked years on that are now deleted or ghost towns because of visibility filtering, shadow banning, on all this bullshit. Sorry, swear jar. Somebody should pop a donation in there on my behalf. And over what? Over what? Because I said something about jabs, because Ruckus said something about Palestine, because Patrick is involved so heavily with Middle East geopolitics. That's why we lost business. That's why we lost followers. That's why we weren't on YouTube for 2 years, because of terms of services. These companies told us they take their terms and services so freaking seriously that we little small plebs out here are not allowed to have a voice in the public square. But they will let an entire country, to include their security services, their military, their intelligence services, their politicians, and their businesses, to geofence people here in America, to send them genocide propaganda, send them war propaganda. And now this. They can't pull out. So like even if Jeff Bezos were to have a moment and be like, you know what, dang it, I've watched Sunday Wire and I'm changed my mind. I don't want Israel to do this anymore. Well, guess what, Bezos? You're one of the richest men in the world and you can't do that? Who's the real CEO then? Because the CEO should be able to say, you know what, we've got a lot of public outcry, and these guys are using our web services to promote war, ethnic cleansing, and genocide, and I don't like it anymore. Well, someone apparently has told him that he can't not allow them to use his products and break his terms of services, even if he personally doesn't approve of it. I don't know, man. This is
I have a theory.
highly frustrating.
I don't even have to say it out loud. I'll just put the idea in everybody's heads. Watch this. Okay, so it would appear that Israel has all these big tech, big Fortune 500 companies and corporations around the world and in this country by the balls. What possibly would give them such power to do that? Maybe they have some sort of information that they're holding over their head, some sort of blackmail material that they may have acquired in a very unique manner, Hesher.
Oh, you talking like Friends of Jeffrey networks, Friends of Diddy networks?
I hear people say that. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I would just sort of say people can use their imaginations,
Yeah, you
I
could
guess.
probably fill in some blanks if you're
Maybe some of the types of stuff that they do at the Burning Man Festival that they do out and open there. Maybe some of those things that they do behind the scenes in special places and boardrooms and islands and bedrooms.
I'll say it isn't so. I thought they were just expressing their freedom and enjoying themselves. You telling me someone might be there with a camera and then blackmailing them with their expressions?
Well, again, if history has taught us anything, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
That is an old trick. I mean, they were doing that before there were like video cameras, people. Hello. They were putting people in compromising positions, particularly politicians, in order to, sway policy. Weird. It's like almost like nothing has changed. History repeats, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. They even have people inside the companies that are upset about this. Internal dissent. Google and Amazon have faced growing criticism from employees and investors over the role Nimbus has played in Israel's devastating assault on Gaza, which numerous human rights organizations and a UN Commission of Inquiry have labeled a genocide. In December of 2023, 1,700 Amazon employees petitioned CEO Andy Jassy, warning that the company was, quote, bolstering the artificial intelligence and surveillance capabilities of the Israeli military used to repress Palestinian activists and impose a brutal siege on Gaza, end quote. And they even had, in 2024, there was a Google Cloud engineer who got pissed and shouted, "I refuse to build technology that empowers genocide" at a company event. So hats off to the Google Cloud engineer.
We got a welfare check for that person. Any updates?
Yeah, I know. Has he been geofenced?
I mean, clearly all of these people, whether or not, because some of them lost their jobs, this has been up in the news all the time with these companies, particularly with Google. And it happened too with Microsoft. I think we've seen something similar happen with like Tesla, maybe, or not Starlink. I don't know, but we see this occasionally. But now it's like, okay, so what happens to these people? There's no follow up, but I bet you they're fine to a certain degree. But I bet you they are now incredibly heavily tracked and traced and put in, like, they're probably shadow banned on their social media. They probably lost this account. There's probably certain aspects of their lives that are frustrating. Maybe they suddenly mysteriously can't connect to the internet anymore at home, when generally it's been no issue until now.
Yeah, that would not be unprecedented at this point, right? Yeah. So that whole thing, that article is up there at 21stcenturywire.com. We recommend you check it out.
We should bring up, I want to mention, because I was watching it today and it was great. I was like, it fits in with all this stuff they were talking about. The Sunday screening today, the Palestinian Laboratory, I think it's called.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Good call.
I only got to watch half of it, and I was like, darn it, I got to get ready for Sunday Wire.
Right, I know. Sometimes I love doing Sunday Wire, but sometimes I wish I was simply a listener, because after the show, the best thing
I got to do that last week. I'm sorry. I just
Yeah,
was
yeah, it's
feeling
nice
good.
when you get to do that, right? But after the show, as a listener, it's cool to go into the Sunday screening and see what the 21 Wire crew has set up for us. Let's look at this week's. Here we go. Sunday screening for this week. The Palestine Laboratory. So this is our weekly documentary film, and we curate these here at 21 Wire. We should shout this out every week. Sometimes it's just so dense we don't get to it, though. But highly recommended. It's always there, pretty much every week. Big thanks to the team at 21 for keeping that updated. Uncovering how Israel profits from surveillance technologies using occupied Palestinian territories as a testing ground. Israel punches way above its weight when it comes to arms sales. The 97th country by population, it is the 9th largest arms dealer in the world, with a $13 billion military industrial complex. Plenty of countries sell weapons, says award-winning journalist Anthony Lowenstein. But what makes Israel's industry unique is the mix of weapons, surveillance technology, and architectural techniques that combine to create a comprehensive system for controlling, quote unquote, difficult populations, and are based on years of experience in Palestine. Palestine. So check that out. It's up at 21stcenturywire.com. Ruckus has a head start on me. I'm gonna have to watch it.
There's an argument to be made, similar to what they were doing in Ukraine, that a lot of what was going on, and with this, is a testing grounds that they would like to bring home to a country near you. Again, a little bit of the minor bit of the inspiration for the graphic there today, Hesher.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we've got a great article on Ukraine up right now at 21st Century Wire too. There's no silver bullet for Ukraine.
They're still in the news. Are people still talking about that old? That's old news.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. It's one of the things that Patrick brings up in the article there too. He also talks about policymakers seeking a quote unquote magic fix for a war that's already strategically lost, right? So what do they mean by a magic fix? Well, we need more Abrams tanks. We need F-16s. We need sanctions. We need cash. Like, it's always the silver. We need another silver bullet. Always another silver bullet. He also discusses,
or we need another war, or
Yeah,
two, or
right.
three,
Maybe
or
we just
four, or five, or
expand
six.
that. Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. NATO credibility, that kind of thing comes up in the article. So that one's really good and worth checking out over there as well for those of you looking for an updated analysis on Ukraine.
You see the common element here being passed around in this giant circle jerk of we're just screwing the whole world over and killing people, having a grand time while we do it. Money. It's all about the money, right? Follow the money, and in this case, it's less about money really than the love of money. Clearly, these people are obsessed with, at the end of the day, ultimately just what pieces of paper. Well, I mean, until they're digital credits on a screen somewhere or inside your brain chip, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. And then there was there's news out of Hungary too, right? There's an article up at 21stcenturywire.com. Hungary and Romania refinery fires, sabotage or negligence. This one's also worth checking out. It's is energy infrastructure the new front line of modern conflict, or is it sort of where you'll see these sort of forces start when they start chipping away at something? So there were multiple refinery fires in close proximity, and Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis spoke about it and alleged possible sabotage. And these facilities are important because they have they're connected to fuel pipelines that feed the EU, and it's a NATO logistics corridor also. So it's another one of those, like, wait a minute, what is this similar to? I don't know, Nord Stream or something like that? Is this like a miniature Nord Stream sort of thing? So I don't know. There's also discussion about the possible motivations if it was sabotage, things like proxy escalation or cover-ups perhaps. So it's a great article, and I highly recommend everybody check
I'm
that out
sure it's
too.
fine, Hesher. It was probably just climate change.
Right? I mean, just like the Nord Stream, I mean, these things happen. Maybe they did it to themselves, right? That was what they tried to tell us with Nord Stream. They just did it to themselves. The Russians did it, or they just did it to themselves. I don't know.
One thing's
Certainly.
for sure, whatever's going on, whatever truly caused the problem, there is a problem and it will be fixed, and the solution to the problem will probably be worse.
Yeah. Yeah. In the meantime, nothing to see here. Trust the trusted sources, right? That don't talk about it.
I will do no such thing. I'll pass. Thank you.
There we go. Daniel got us. Putin did it again. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Case closed. Case closed. We can all.
Maybe this one, maybe it was Nicolas Maduro, because, maybe he's going outside of his general, because we all know he's a narco-terrorist. That's what he's about. But maybe he wants to be an eco-energy. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just pulling this out of my butt. Maybe it was Nigeria. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. Shall we bring it on home to Texas, Ruckus? Is it time to bring it on home?
I'm already here in Texas. Where are you?
Down the block, man.
Oh, you want to bring up the thing?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay, so do you think I should?
Jury's still out about some of this stuff.
Yeah, we've got some commentary about this. Do you think we should watch the video first, or should I set it up?
I think you should just play it. I think you should just play it, just the short version, right, of the encounter.
All right. Let's see
but
here.
This is right here in Texas, USA. That's right. This was not in Germany.
Yeah. This is the original post right here from one Adam the Angler at Adam the Great TV, posted October 29. Let's give it a watch.
Is that doorbell camera right there? Yeah. The dog, the Rottweiler. Oh, there's a dog in there? Yeah, Rottweiler. Hey!
So for our audio listeners, this is a Ring camera we're looking at. A couple of Texas State Police, apparently, at someone's front door.
Maybe that was a dog.
And this guy's going to come out in a minute.
I like how they got Jerry Garcia to lead this thing here.
Yeah, right? You see a guy looking like that, you know he does undercover work, right?
I'm guessing he plays a homeless person.
Boy, these entryways in Texas homes sure look familiar, don't they? They got a style. So the guy in the house, I assume at this point, is trying to decide what he's going to do. Am I going to come out? Am I going to meet these guys? I'm going to pop forward a little bit here. Here we go.
Try that again.
Here's the encounter.
Try that again.
We're here because of the comments you made online about the Jewish community. Are you
So what?
No, I'm saying, are you?
I have a freedom of speech, dude.
Yeah, no, we get that.
I get that.
We just we gotta make sure that you're not.
Do you have a warrant?
No.
No, that's why we're
Okay,
here.
you see that sign?
Yeah.
So that says no soliciting. What you're doing is basically soliciting. You understand that, right? Yeah. It means you're not welcomed here.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Stay off the lawn, please.
I'll pause it right there. He sends those guys packing and tells them to stay off the lawn. But it was a little soft. I don't know if everybody caught that in the audio, but the officer said, "We're here because of the comments you put online about the Jewish community." Now, this one, Candace Owens reposted this. Spore caught it right after Candace reposted it. I saw it then, and it just went bananas viral since then. This guy's account has grown greatly since that incident. And let's see, where's he at right now? He's at almost 8,000 followers right now, which is a massive rise from where he was.
I'm
But
sure more than half of those are. Never mind.
yeah, right. Yeah, opposition researcher followers, right.
There you go.
So just to give some context here, here's his account, Adam the Great. He's got a logo. Here's his avatar picture of himself with his AR-15 and a Trump Vance 2024 campaign sign.
He looks like the
And
type of person who'd be harassed under a Biden administration, not under a Trump administration.
right? I mean, this is interesting, is it not? And his description is Oath Keeper, disabled U.S. Navy veteran, ex-Scientologist, avid angler and gamer, 2A and 420 advocate, libertarian, America first, juice boxes last.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, so you could see how this account might draw some attention, and I just find it interesting. Number one, he's still rocking the Trump Vance MAGA labels, and there's that primary section of MAGA that are political Zionist, and this guy obviously is not. So I can only assume. I mean, I haven't watched his content. I'm really not trying to cast any judgment on this guy. I'm just trying to collect the facts here so that I can, have all of the context to think about it. But I don't know, man. It seems kind of like
Do we have for context what the alleged comments were, or has there been anything specific, or probably not? Because all we heard was from the guy is, we're here because of the online comments you made about the Jewish community. That's pretty vague. I mean, did he go on to Facebook and say, I support pro-Palestinian causes? Does he have a little flag next to his name? Is it because of the juice box comment on his profile? What is it? Who knows?
Well, yeah, and also Spore was doing some research on this for me, and she noticed that there were some things that had been posted that were then removed, and then other people in the comments under Candace's boost of this were screenshotting some of the things that he said, and they were certainly within the realms of free speech, but some of them were kind of like, okay, I could see why that might upset somebody, even though I don't think it's worth swatting someone over.
Okay. Well, listen, all that aside, if that is the case, what should a law enforcement officer do if they wish to approach that person, Hesher? What should they acquire and have in their hands before they even bother ringing on that doorbell?
A search warrant.
And where does the search warrant come from? They just write that themselves?
No, it comes from a judge, and usually there's someone in the loop before it gets to the judge too.
Man, that pesky red tape. If only we could do something about that. The way that Israel did go away with the pesky red tape with those Googles and those Microsofts, that'd be sweet. Could we do something about that?
Yeah. So there's more to this story, and a lot of people have eyeballs on it right now. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's definitely made a lot of people angry. You know what I mean? There's high tension about censorship about this topic right now, and to see the video in its raw form is infuriating for a lot of people. I noticed that. And on the other hand, some of the things that he wrote infuriated a lot of other people too. So I just find it very interesting that the police were called to this guy's house, and that's what I think both Adam and I are wondering about. Like, which post was it? What exactly was said? Who saw it? Who reported it? Who took the report? You know what I mean? If we could follow this up the chain and knew a little bit more about the original poster,
I'd be particularly interested in knowing whether or not it was just, oh, well, actually, we just got an automated report from an algorithm of some sort.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very possible. Very possible.
Oh, looks like this yellow warning user just immediately jumped to a red. Send out a squad.
Yeah, we got a Nimbus alert. We're going to trigger some Peter Thiel technology here, who is definitely not the Antichrist, and go have some armed thugs knock on this guy's door, and there were a lot of people commenting in the comments, hey, you better get some dash cams on your car. I saw those guys write your license plate number down on the way out of there. And it's like, Well, let's hope that's not the case. Let's hope that's not the case. And I don't know if we said it specifically, but that happened right here in Central Texas, not but less
And then
than
you know what
30
really,
minutes from
really,
where we sit right now.
what really sucks, Hesher, is it is 2025. Until I actually can physically meet that person and talk to him about this incident and talk to witnesses, I don't even know if the video I just watched was even real. Because that's the world we live in right now.
Well, there is that. I did notice while I was on his page just now that there are some updates about this. He's not going to just post it as a single one-time video. It looks like he went and talked to the sheriff's office here in the county.
He did say he was going to do an audit.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. We have and I mentioned this on Boiler Room, but we have a bit of a thriving community of First Amendment auditors here in Central Texas and around Texas. Typically, they are veterans, and they're interested in upholding their oath to the Constitution within their communities. And they like to make sure that the law enforcement officers in their communities are upholding their oaths as well. And they go out and they film cops working, basically. So there is this video. Maybe this will help your suspicions about him being a deepfake. There he is right there. I believe that's him. He has a Rumble channel with 17 followers. So you're welcome, Adam the Angler. Please, we hope you're everything's above board with you. And yeah, he says, I went to the Belton, Texas DPS office in order to file a complaint on the 3 state troopers who unlawfully visited my home in order to intimidate me about my anti-Israel posts on X. I also requested charges be brought if the visit stemmed from a report in order to attempt to swat me. So that is, how long is this video? That's a 13-minute video up there on his Rumble. So we want to know more, and apparently we've got more information to go through. But I did want to bring it up just because of the mechanics of it. You know, like just disregard who this guy is. I'm going to assume he's a 1A auditor in Central Texas, and that he's a proud patriot veteran. I'm going to just assume that until I learn something different. But the mechanics that made this happen, that ended up with those people on his patio, are highly interesting to me. So yeah, you can follow that dude on Rumble. Get him outside that 17 followers realm that he's in right now. This must be a brand new channel based on this event. So
well, there you go. See, so based on that information, if suddenly for no explicable reason he's like the next big hot guest on Tucker Carlson in like 2 to 3 weeks, we're like, so the whole thing's a psyop. All right, we get it.
yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on it.
He's got the half-hour program of his own on Candace Owens starting next week.
Hey,
here he is on Nick Fuentes.
This guy is so close to us, we might run into him at the grocery store or something like that. Like,
yeah, I should be careful what I say.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, my dude. Just when you're in this bit, I mean, Hesher, we have literally encountered situations where people we thought were one thing or another, based on their activities, their videos, talking to them in person, off air, all of these things, and then you never know. You really, really never know.
Yeah,
leave
exactly.
it at that.
Yep, got to leave all doors open a little bit there. But yeah, that was an interesting one, and very interesting to see that happen right here, basically in our hometown, because that went mega viral. Let's see here, Ruckus. You got anything else? Any other saved rounds or anything that we need to cover on this week's Sunday Wire?
Holy crap! I mean, how long have we got? I don't want to turn this into like a 3-4 hour long show.
No, we'll wrap it up in the next.
No, I do want to briefly bring up this garbage notion. I brought it up earlier that here I'll even pull something up on my screen about how Trump is Mr. Peace president, right? He's Mr. Peace, like this and that. They were talking about whether or not he was going to get the actual peace, the Nobel Peace Prize. Remember, and then they gave it away to the Venezuelan chick, if I'm not mistaken.
CIA agent, yeah.
So we've got. Why is this not popping up? Hold on one second, folks. Technology sucks. All right, so I found this on making the rounds. This one was from RT. Headline: Trump hails his meeting with Xi as a step toward everlasting peace. Oh, well, there's that word again, peace. So yeah, in case you didn't know, there was this big deal where Trump was out there in that part of the world meeting with at the APEC summit, which was being hosted by South Korea. But he met with Xi Jinping, right? And out of that, they're talking about the trade issues, they're talking about this, and they're talking about peace. And I thought this was funny. He said, "God bless both China and the USA." I'm pretty sure they're probably different gods as far as religion is talking there. But this is rich because what we have happening, I'm going to share this post, which was shared by Patrick Henningsen, about what's going on with the Venezuela stuff. So we got this talking about peace, but really in the background, there's been condemnation coming from our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who said that, quote, China is unlawfully claiming jurisdiction over waters that are not theirs and attempting to regulate and limit peaceful military actions by other nations. Well, geez, leaving aside for the minute what happened with the flotilla in Israel, Duopoly Destroyer here says, blows up boats in the Caribbean and in Latin American international waters, and somehow has the audacity to claim it's China unlawfully claiming jurisdiction over water that isn't theirs without being laughed out of the room. And then he says he hates it here. Shout out to Duopoly Destroyer. But this is the environment that we're in. And as far as the whole, look at that, he did it again. Bam, we struck another Caribbean vessel, these alleged narco terrorists, and no warrant, no investigation, no evidence, no proof. Boom, just no longer going to be breathing anymore, whoever or whatever they were, right? And it's like, peace. Well, what about our peace? Oh, well, no, I guess so much for peace, because that peace prize winner is now calling for a military attack on our own country.
Isn't that crazy?
You cannot make this up. So apparently, allegedly, again, according to RT, that Maria Corina Machado has said that Washington's quote-unquote anti-drug campaign off of Venezuela's coast is the only way to oust the illegitimate Nicolas Maduro. So like, well, again, so much for peace. We're seeing lots and lots of reports about exactly what is going on. Oh, wow, this seems like a lot of firepower to me for some narco terrorists, Hesher. There's a full list here. We've got the USS Gerald Ford, the USS Thomas Hoodner, the USS Ramage, USS Carney, USS Roosevelt. We got some cruisers, missile destroyers. This is crazy. Attack submarines. You can find all this article, by the way, up at, who did that? Miami Herald. But this is all over the news, right? Trump is threatening military action now in Africa. In case you missed that one, he wants to go duke it out with something going on in Nigeria in the name of saving everybody from being beheaded, because that's what they're doing. So now we're going to suddenly attack Nigeria over the killing of Christians. Well, who is killing the Christians? Oh, it turns out it's the Muslims. We got to be afraid of the Muslims, everybody. Where on earth have I heard this silly story before? And hey, aren't we supposed to wrap things up with Ukraine? Well, how is that going to happen when we're just going to go ahead and send them tomahawks? Hesher. So again, as dubious as the ceasefire has been, I find it even more dubious, this idea that anybody in this current administration, or pretty much in any country around the world at this moment, is interested in anything related to peace. So that's where we're at.
I think in the Orwellian world we live in now, just peace equals bombs. Peace means bombs. I'm pretty sure peace means
through strength. They say it.
Yeah. Bombs.
They really mean peace through propaganda is what I think they meant to say.
Yeah. We're bring peace through mass death and mass migration and all that stuff.
I hope this is unsettling to all of the Christian listeners, viewers, and supporters of Trump out there, because I should remind you that our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, if you're a fellow believer and proclaimed to be a Christian, he was the Prince of Peace. And if you had to ask, look at your little bracelet there that says WWJD, what would Jesus do, as you're being fed the propaganda message from show Works by Faith or whatever the crap that was, which is ridiculous. They were, hey, look at this baby getting his head blown off. That's because we got to do this in the name of like peace. And this is what Jesus would do. I don't think so, Buster.
Do you think Christy Nome was wearing a WWJD bracelet when she signed the bombs that were going into Gaza? I'm just curious. I don't know. Do you think?
Is that what she wrote? Finish them, right?
Yeah, finish them, I believe.
She's a Mortal Kombat fan, Hesher.
Yeah, right. Hates dogs, loves Mortal Kombat. Yeah, that is just.
But
go
hey,
backward.
not financial advice. So I guess it's a good time to be invested in Palantir, Raytheon, Raphael, stuff like that.
If you can afford to get in at this point, I mean, one share on these things
And
right
if you
now
can
is
sleep, with yourself at night, knowing that you're into that kind of thing. I mean, Lindsey Graham is having a blast with all of this, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh wow, boy, just unfiltered, having a
He
great
says we're
time.
killing all the right people.
We're killing
So-
all the right people, quote unquote. I believe. Pretty sure that's a quote unquote. We thought it was AI or a deepfake when we first saw it, but apparently, looks like multiple cameras caught that one.
Do you have that at hand? I think you should play that clip. That's a good closer right there.
All
I
right,
think we
yeah.
should play that.
I
clip
could dig it out. I'm sure.
I think it's in our Discord chat.
Yeah, I think it's in the.
And
boiler
the event that he was attending, I was like, what fresh hell is this? Like, I mean, another amalgamation where you can't tell the two apart. Israel, United States, Zionism, political Zionism, American policy, Christian conservatism, alternative media. What the F am I looking at? It's like a giant mutated amalgamous blob of like, what is this?
Yeah. All right. Well, at the RJC.
Apologies to everybody in advance. It is
Yeah,
Lindsey
we're
Graham.
really sorry to leave you with this one, but here's good old Lindsey Graham from the Republican Jewish Coalition speaking.
What
these
the
words.
F is that?
Yeah, what is the RJC? Certainly geofenced, whatever it is. There's geofencing going on there. Here we go.
He recognized Jerusalem as capital of Israel. Why? Because if you got a problem with that, take it up with God. He's the guy that did it, not Trump. So I just want to say, I feel good about the Republican Party. I feel good about where we're going as a nation. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes. Trump is my favorite president. We've run out of bombs. We didn't run out of bombs in World War II.
The glee. We're killing all the right people. We're running out of bombs. The absolute abject, ghoulish glee in this guy. Unbelievable. Let's see what other classics he can wing out in the next minute here.
So, as a coalition of Republicans, some Baptist, some Jewish, we organize ourselves around principles that we love and we cherish. We love individual freedom. We love entrepreneurship. We love capitalism. We love
all those things. Every single one of those he mentioned, I think we kind of cast some shadows over today. Right? Capitalism. You love capitalism, do you? Is that why Amazon and Google are not allowed to disallow Israel from breaking their terms of services and using their products in a way that would be illegal for the rest of us? That kind of capitalism? I think you used the wrong word. I think the word you're looking for starts with the letter F.
Of Israel. We love the idea of Israel. We love the struggle they've been involved in. We love them, helping them because you're helping yourself. So to those who worry about these stupid interviews and far off places, don't worry. The Republican Party has figured it out when it comes to Israel. We understand that Israel is a friend of America to the bitter end. We understand that God blesses those who bless Israel. And where I come from, I figured that crap out when I was 6 years old. God bless you. Thank you.
Okay, get out of here. hell
Is
out
that
of here.
extra specially egregious or what?
It was that is egregious sauce on top of an egregious cake. That is
You can see,
thick.
folks, why I'm still on the fence about whether that's real. Ugh, I'm like, please tell me this is parody. Please
Yeah,
tell me
if
it's
someone could verify
it's.
that this is a parody
I
or an
think it's.
AI,
I
I'll
think
sleep
it's
better.
real.
Yeah, no, I'm afraid it is. We're killing the right people.
There was also Mark
Okay.
Levin going off on a tangent at that same event, which was fun. But you'll have to hunt for that yourselves, folks. And I encourage you to do that.
Yeah.
Always got to be out there doing your own research. That way, no geofenced propaganda can persuade you. If you have your own decisions set forth based on your own ability to critically think and analyze and make a decision for yourself based on your own judgments and your own free will. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not going to subject you to Mark Levin because we just subjected you to Lindsey Graham. So we're going to do you a solid on this Sunday and get ourselves on out of here. Ruckus, thank you so much for everything you do for Alternate Current Radio, for Sunday Wire, and just for being such a good presenter and friend to us and colleague. Thanks for being here today. It's been a yet another interesting Sunday Wire. We're kind of we're at the sort of on the downhill of 2025 here. I can see 2026 on the horizon here, and it feels, to kind of come full circle back to the beginning of the show. We had a time change. Now we can see 2026 on the horizon here, and boy, we're gonna have our work cut out for us in the rest of this term, the rest of this presidential term. I think our work is cut out for us pretty much just every day from here forward because the rate at things are moving. But Ruckus, over to you. Get us on out of here, and we'll do it again next week.
This is why I, for one, am actually happily looking forward to when I step outside my home and I'm just randomly black bagged and black sighted away. And it's fine. Nobody would ever know the difference because they'll easily quickly replace me with my digital twin, and you will still see me here on the Boiler Room and Sunday Wire and Weaponized News, of course. Shout out to Weaponized News with Sam Chaney. Except, of course, it won't really be me, and I'll probably be getting tortured somewhere in a prison cell in a city somewhere closer to Israel than Texas. Thanks for having me, Hesher. Remind everybody, of course, what I do. I'm not doing the Daily Ruckus right now, but you'll find my recent appearances on other programs under the moniker Roundabout Ruckus at alternatecurrentradio.com. I pretty much show up once a week, of course, on Boiler Room, Sunday Wire. I show up on Weaponized News. So you can find me. I'm out there. Please do follow me on X. That way, we can all get spied on together. I will promise I won't propagandize to you, but I do still make original, funny, clever posts. 99.99% of them come from my own brain. I don't use ChatGPT or Grok or anything. Occasionally, I use those things for images and stuff. But yeah, it's a good follow, and you can also send me a direct message if you'd like to, as the word slinger, get some work done for you. Maybe you need help with your website. Need some graphic images, some cool thumbnails and stuff. You guys know I do some cool image stuff, obviously. You can tell. And or whatever else you might need. I do business consultations, marketing. I know these things. So if you'd like to put that to work for you, for those wonderful things that Lindsey Graham was talking about in this capitalist society that we live in, we love entrepreneurship. I love entrepreneurs, and I like helping small business owners and entrepreneurs. So hit me up. Thanks again for having me. In the meantime, I'll remind everybody, as usual, the late, great Bill Cooper, who was murdered on November 5th. Always remember the 5th of November. Read everything, listen to everybody. Don't believe anything, especially if it came from a geofenced propaganda coming out of Israel, unless you can prove it for yourself. Thank you very much. I'm out of here.
All right. Thanks, Ruckus. Really appreciate you being here with me today. And thanks, Patrick, for letting us run the ship while you're traveling. Unfortunately, we weren't able to raise Patrick or Basil today, but that's okay because we were able to tear through a lot of stuff at breakneck 21stcenturywire.com speed. Check out 21stcenturywire.com. Check out the Sunday screening. Please support 21stcenturywire.com. It's easy to do. You just go right over. Great. I lost the tab I'm sharing now. There it is. You go right over here, support 21 Wire. Hopefully you can see my mouse floating around. It's in that top menu. at 21stcenturywire.com. If you want to subscribe, become a member, we appreciate that. Your support means everything to this broadcast, and it keeps us going, and it allows Patrick to get off and go do stories in other places and things like that. Go do interviews, go do podcasts, go do appearances. So, your support is greatly appreciated. I know some of you have kicked in and supported 21st Century Wire recently, and we thank you for that. Same goes for Alternate Current Radio. We need your support. You can find us at alternatecurrentradio.com. You can find Patrick's Midweek Wires, Sunday Wire, Boiler Room, Mystical American Patriot Society, the Odd Man Out podcast, the Daily Ruckus. We got a lot going for you over there. And of course, the Boiler Room at alternatecurrentradio.com. Check out Friday night's Boiler Room. If you missed it, it's not up on the website yet, but it is on our Rumble, my X, which is at Hesher Media. And it'll be up on the website shortly, as well as the podcast version of this show. So I hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend. Enjoy what you have left of the weekend and have a great week coming up. Stay tuned for Midweek Wire. Hopefully that will be happening, even though Patrick's on the road. And if not, I'm sure he'll do a makeup show for you at some point. And that's it. We're out of here. I hope, I hope everybody has a great weekend. And we'll leave you with Beatty Man. That's right. We're going to go out with Beatty Man today. So we'll see you again for Sunday Wire number 568 next week.
If hope was a race, then it's finished. And if death has a smell, you can smell it. When limited freedom is diminished. And if evil has a touch, you have felt it. Where there's no safe place to rest your head. And a child's greatest dream is for a loaf of bread in the rubble. She uncontrollably cries, a limbless child with lifeless eyes. Bombs relentlessly rain down from the skies to claim more hopes, more dreams, more lives. He tricks you into thinking that he doesn't exist. Well, he does, and he rules with an iron fist. Kids are taken out by snipers, left to die where they fell. The devil is real, his name is Israel. I see you all shutting your eyes to unending heinous crimes. Are we slowly heading toward the end of times? To this I say, Viva, viva, Palestina, viva, viva, Palestina, viva, viva, Palestina, free, 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 Palestine. Shaban Adalu, we remember your name. Hooked up to an ivy and engulfed in flame. I really don't know if I'll ever be the same after witnessing these images and feeling his pain. I sit here in comfort, and the tears fall from my eyes, feeling totally hopeless, watching you get terrorized. He tricked you into thinking that doesn't exist. Well, he does, and he rules with an iron fist. Kids are taken out by snipers, left to die where they fell. The devil is real, his name is Israel. I see you all shutting your eyes to unending heinous crimes. Are we slowly heading toward the end of times? To this I say, Viva, viva, Palestina, viva, viva, Palestina, viva, viva, Palestina, free, 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 Palestine. You see, when ignorance screams, intelligence stays silent. You can't reason with a fanatic, they'll just resort to being violent. An asymmetry of info that promotes the oppressor, whilst a name Palestine becomes a victim of the censor. The Palestinian people remain victim to the occupier, and the Zionist aggressor just plays a victim forever, forever, forever. He tricks you into thinking that he doesn't exist. Well, he does, and he rules with an iron fist. Kids are taken out by snipers, left to die where they fell. The devil is real, his name is Israel. see you shutting your eyes to unending heinous crimes. Are we slowly heading toward the end of times? To this I say, Viva, Viva, Palestina, Viva, Viva, Palestina, Viva, Viva, Palestina, free, 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 Palestine. Wherever you find oppression, you'll also find resistance. You label them as terrorists, I see them fighting for existence. He tricked you into thinking that he doesn't exist. Well, he does, and he rules with an iron fist. Kids are taken out by snipers, left to die where they fell. The devil is real, his name is Israel. I see you all shutting your eyes to unending heinous crimes. Are we slowly heading toward the end of times? To this I say, Viva, Viva, Palestina, Viva, Viva, Palestina, Viva, Viva, Palestina, free, 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 Palestine.